Nick, how's your holidays going?
Pretty good, Clark.
Good. It's funny that you actually mentioned that because real quick before we get started in any episode, I consider myself very Griswoldian. Especially when it comes to going on vacations.
We're wearing that outfit.
Yeah, we're in it. But whenever I end up going on like a vacation, I'm the guy who's like, I just want to stop and see the world's largest bowl of oil.
Yeah.
But
is there such thing?
Definitely, yeah. But when it comes to things like the holidays, like I tend to scale back a bit. I'm not the guy who has the Griswold house, which is the the nuclear power.
You're not gonna be in there
outside one.
Okay.
I barely got a tree up this year. We got one in the mail on the way here. So
at our house, the wife is responsible for the exterior illumination projects.
Oh, perfect. So you guys have okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, my wife doesn't do any of that.
My wife does.
She always tells me if I take care of getting it in from the garage, she'll do it, and then about 2 days later, I'm doing it. So.
But she does decorating, and then she comes to me and goes, "How does it look?" If I really had a problem with it, I would go out and help you. Just do whatever you want.
Just thumbs up all around.
Well,
today we're going to talk about Christmas Vacation. It's a film I picked.
30 years old.
It is, the 30th anniversary coming back to theaters. And I'm just really excited to talk about it because it's my all-time favorite Christmas film. Discuss the merits and some of the fun behind-the-scenes stuff with you. So that's what we're going to get to today. So stay tuned for some Kyle and Nick on Film where we talk Christmas Vacation. Welcome back to Kyle and Nick on Film. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Goethe from GoatFilmReviews.com.
I'm Nick Palodichuk, host of the St. Paul Filmcast podcast. You can find at Stitcher, Google Play, and iTunes.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, and today we're going to talk about Christmas Vacation. As I said before in our opening there, it is my all-time favorite Christmas movie. I know a lot of people throw out Christmas Story, and a lot of people throw out some of the more classic Christmas. They throw out like the 30 Christmas carols that have come out. But Christmas Vacation for me is it's so important because it's one of those films I remember seeing at a very young age. Like I couldn't pinpoint when, but it just was a staple of my growing up. And I think just the Griswolds are basically my family, growing up. Like we love each other, of course, but there was always that kind of that bubbling insanity that was just kind of
the whole buildup of you have to make it the best holiday ever because you just constant building and the anxiety.
Oh yeah, when it comes to it, this is a lesson I've learned over many years. Actually, probably from watching Christmas Vacation enough times and learning from his mistakes. But I've learned the big message of the film is really just enjoy the moments because nothing is going to go perfectly. Right. It's just the same thing with going on vacation. It's the same thing about the holidays. Nothing will go the way that you plan it to. Yeah. Going home or going to visit family for Thanksgiving, we didn't actually get to go this year as planned. We had to actually skip and go a week later because we just couldn't get a time that worked out. And the holidays were pretty rough and there's weather. And you kind of you have to deal with what you can deal with.
You have to deal with it, and also don't count your eggs before they hatch with putting a down payment on a pool when you don't have the money.
Exactly, yeah. And if
anticipation,
you need to, right? If you need to, you just have to rely on your friend Jack Daniels to get through the holidays. That's the Clark Senior's way of going.
We almost did the Class A. Okay, so it came out 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. When it came out, actually had great reviews. Siskel and Ebert gave it a enthusiastic thumbs up. They really liked the movie. It had slowly got traction, even though it had good reviews. I think people were like, it's another vacation movie. It's the third one. European Vacation didn't really go very well.
Yeah, it just didn't really win people.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this again. So the traction took a long time to develop. Mm-hmm. So even though it came out, it had great reviews. A lot of people, it took a long time to get interest.
Yep, and it's in a way, it's structured different than the previous vacation films or any other vacation film that has happened because they only travel to get the tree. That's the only time they're on any sort of journey together. Everyone else vacations to them. So and I think in a lot of ways that kind of caught people off guard, and certain people respond differently to Christmas movies than to normal films because there's that expectation that maybe you walk out feeling better. And that's maybe not how you feel with Christmas Vacation, except for the joy.
No, this is definitely a movie I think wouldn't transfer well watching in the theater as watching at home with friends.
Yes.
A family.
Yes. Right. I was lucky. I was gifted some tickets from AMC to go see the film in the theater, and I gotta say, I think it's better to do it that direction, where you've watched it at home enough times with people, but then you got to go and have a laugh with a bunch of people in a theater, so that was kind of cool. But I agree with you, like, I knew people that were in that theater that was their first time seeing the film, and you could kind of hear their hesitation when laughing, because, you know, people are pretty mean-spirited in the film, of course, you know, and it's like, and it's almost like that, is this funny kind of a thing that you grow to love, and then you start to see your family members and the various family members in the film. You know, I know all 4 of the Clark and Ellen's parents. I know all 4 of them from my family.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
we all. That's what works really well, is we can pinpoint. I have an aunt like that. I have a grandma just like that, and you know, I have arrangements and scenarios that's come across that similar. Yeah. Of course, this does an exaggeration, but right.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, Clark and Ellen are very much that, like, how you would picture the classic American family in a lot of ways, like, again, pushed to the extreme.
Yeah, they tried it.
I think that's even what's kind of fun about how each one of these films has a different Rusty and Audrey. They're different ages. One time one's older, one time the other's older. Sometimes they're both old or young, and they're never exactly the same, and they're never the same kid.
And I think that fits well, because I think it's what's part for now, right? It fits for the
yes, it fits for the story they're doing, but it also kind of, this way you can see any of your kids or any of your siblings as the Rusty and Audrey in the film.
It's a nice, funny joke. Right?
Yeah, and it kind of just keeps going with it. I think they mentioned that too in a Vegas Vacation later on. It's like, didn't she get shorter? You know, like they kind of like pick up with that too, and it's nice to know that. I think what's funny too is, you know, John Hughes was the original writer of the first Vacation, wrote this one as well.
John Hughes also, because it's National Lampoons, which was a magazine.
Yes.
Created by Doug Kinney, and John Hughes was one of the first writers. So before John Hughes became a director, he was actually a writer in the National Lampoons magazine, which is a logical fit of National Lampoon's going to do another movie.
Yeah, and they pushed him for it because they really wanted him to return as writer, and he said he wasn't really interested in doing it initially because he felt that the series had just kind of become Chevy Chase movies and not National Lampoon, not Vacation films as he saw them. So the original Vacation is based on his short story Vacation 58.
Yes, I think which published in National Lampoon.
Yep, and then he went back and started looking through his old stories and his old ideas and found Christmas 59, which was in the National Lampoon as well, and that's what he used kind of to adapt into Christmas Vacation. It kind of changed his mind on the subject. He was just told, do a third one, and he didn't really know what to do and kind of what to come across with it. So I think it's interesting, he kind of just like finds something rifling through pages of stories, you know? And the guy's known for having such an interesting, like, storytelling technique. Like, he's done films all across the board. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is another, like, holiday classic that goes at least every year in my house.
One of the, I think, John Hughes' strengths are he lets actors shine. He bends to them and gets their input. He listens to them. And Christmas Vacation, everybody has opportunity to have their lines, their zingers, and the points, and even the supporting roles that you don't see very seconds. But yeah, everybody gets their opportunity. That's probably why people like to work with John Hughes.
Yeah, he's kind of more like a heartwarming Quentin Tarantino, where like he makes his characters really great. Like he gives them all time to shine, much in the way where like Tarantino gives everyone a chance to cut somebody. Hughes gives everybody a moment to really like have that kicker with the comedy and really have an emotional beat too. There's a lot of emotional beats in the film. That's why it kind of hits you in that part. I love that scene when Ruby is talking to Clark after he's been visualizing his pool outside, and she talks about how she doesn't think Santa's coming this year because her dad told them that he wasn't going to show up.
Right. Yeah.
And it's that moment where Clark realizes like. He can't even afford to be an elf, he says it in that scene, because he's sinking his money into this pool, into this extravagant item, when he should be focusing on the fact that there's a little girl in his life that won't even get a gift.
Yes, you see that harshly about, I feel sorry for myself, but here's somebody.
Yeah. And he still hasn't learned that message at that point in the film, but it's starting to like wear into him a bit,
Right.
Let's talk real quick about Cousin Eddie, because I think this is Cousin Eddie's like best appearance in the Vacation.
Right, and it's a transfer over, and I think it's a nice opportunity because he wasn't in European Vacation, but it was one of the when they used Vacation, one of the footnotes was the scene where they go to his place, Eddie's house, and that was, everybody thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
and I think it's a nice testament of let's try to bring that back into this series.
And if you watch them all in the order they were released, the absence is felt in European Vacation, which is why his like surprise appearance in Christmas Vacation is so great. They lit all these lights, and then he's like hugging everyone. All of a sudden, just Eddie's there, and it takes him a second. He has that recoil, like, Eddie, what are you doing here? Like, it's a great moment because it's kind of that, like, you thought we weren't going to include him, but he's here, like he's part of it now, and it kind of adds that too. And I think it's nice that since he was missing from European, to have him show up in this sense here.
And Randy Quaid, before he went,
oh yeah. Don't watch his YouTube.
Portrayed this. I like it because no matter what Eddie does, he's always a misstep, right? I mean, he's trying to dress up fancy. He wears a leather suit, or a dickie, but it's always a misstep of timing or how to phrase everything that makes everything funnily awkward.
Oh yeah, like greeting everyone in the morning while he's emptying his chemical toilet.
Yeah, he's trying to be polite about it.
Or I think his best line in the whole movie comes later on in the film. The sequence with the cat eating the lights, and they find the cat underneath the chair, and he's like, "That cat had 9 lives. He just used all of them." Woo! And it's just this it's this like deadpan thing where he thinks he's the funniest guy in the room, but it's that scene, like, it bothers me because I have cats. Like, that's horrifying to me. Yeah. And then to have him get that lightheartedness of like not understanding the like destruction that has just taken place in the house, is good.
So Randy Quaid, I mean, he was wonderful. He was a perfect fit.
Oh yeah,
and I think as everybody, if you didn't know, that's Dennis Quaid's brother.
Oh yeah, Dennis Quaid. Maybe a little less on the insanity spectrum there, but
insanity spectrum. What else did I talk about next? Because it's a loaded all-star cast.
Oh yeah. It's everyone in this film is somebody. Like every major character in this family, especially, is somebody. You have like John Randolph as Clark Sr., who has appeared in tons of different
he's across his phenomenal character actor.
Doris Roberts,
who went on to Everybody Was Raymond.
I love. I'm blanking on the father's name or the father-in-law's name.
Lewis.
Lewis, yeah.
The person who played Lewis, who was also in many other.
I always think of him as president from Superman 2.
He is.
But he, just like, again, everyone gets their moment to have a great laugh, and his is like, the little lights are not twinkling, Clark. Like, he just can't let his son-in-law have a win. And I think, again, we all know, like, people in those kinds of, like, worlds where it's just like, just give me this one win.
Yes. We know people, like, you get accolades, and they find one little flaw, and it just
just to kind of dig into you and remind you that you're not the perfect one you're trying to be. And he's like a perfect foil to the perfection Clark is aiming for. What's funny is that the film was originally going to be directed by Christopher Columbus, who went on to do Home Alone with
Home Alone and some Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, he did the first 2 Harry Potters and the first 2 Home Alones, I guess. And he initially was on. I think he did some secondary photography at the beginning of the film, some stuff that's barely in the finished movie, but he walked away after having discussions and disagreements with Chevy Chase, which is not unpopular.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Who had disagreements with Chevy Chase?
Yeah, if you want to get your heart broken by anyone fired by Chevy Chase, watch Community.
But Chevy is the master. Even though he's the master of giving you a compliment and it sounds like an insult.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think he's one of those guys I don't think he plays well with others, and it's not always something that I think he's doing intentionally. I just think he's got a specific type of humor that works when you're watching it, but not when you're speaking with it.
Yeah, it's almost like he wants to be on his own inside joke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're the punchline.
Yeah, and I think some people can handle that. I'm sure Beverly D'Angelo could. She kept coming back to be in movies with him, and I think some people probably just couldn't. And you get things like. Him getting the creator fired off of Community when he was on the show and then quitting himself the next year. And
he did 2 movies with Goldie Hawn and they were great together.
Yeah, so I think he's got people like that work with him, and it's kind of like a smaller group than like the Adam Sandler. All my friends are in the movie with me. Chevy Chase is like 4 people he gets along with, and he keeps bringing them around with him. Yeah. So, music was done by Angelo Badalamenti, who's known for working with David Lynch on things like Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks. So it's really kind of interesting. Wow. I listened for that specifically for those like Lynchian vibes in the music, and they're there, but they're really, really
subtle.
Subtle in the film. Really tough to kind of pull out.
That's a nice fact that I never know about.
Yeah, he worked with David Lynch a ton, and then he just did this film. And it's like, I don't know why he decided to do this film, but it's it works. The soundtrack is pretty solid, and it's a memorable one too. It's kind of one that you kind of toe tap with, This is the only film in the Vacation series that doesn't have Holiday Road, which
funny.
Makes sense. It's the only one where they're not actually on the road, but they are at a holiday.
On a holiday, right. And I believe that was Buckingham, right?
Yep.
Lindsay Buckingham.
Yep. He was invited to do a theme song, but didn't want to be known as a soundtrack musician. So didn't return for this film.
If you want to do a little fact, I think Lindsay was approached to do a theme song for Ghostbusters, and he didn't want to have that trademark of go-to person to do movies, and he turned it down.
Yep, which is funny because it's really tough to find a copy of Holiday Road now when you're looking on iTunes. So
that's because of Lindsay.
Lindsay was like, "Get that out of here." Yeah. When the film came out, it actually debuted in second place on its opening weekend with $11 million. It actually came behind Back to the Future Part 2. So two kind of franchise installments kind of vying for that role.
In December.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me that. But that's also happening, I think, now as well. You get, some Christmas movies recently that have not hit the full extent of their release.
Right.
It's just weird to me that when you get one that's like a franchise Christmas movie, because those tend to do pretty well. They do because they have the people who want to see Christmas movie, then they have the people who like the franchise.
And franchise movies work well because you don't have to set up the story and everything, and everybody kind of already knows the
from the moment you open up this film, you know who Clark is, you know who Ellen is, and when you see him going to get that tree, nothing seems out of place. Yeah. Everything here is like, okay, we're just going to ratchet up to 11 real quick, and we're there.
Yes.
It's the final film of Mae Questel, who was Bethany, the one who said
the old lady can't hear anything.
She's known for playing Betty Boop. This was her last film, and
for a live action film.
Yeah. Yep.
So she played Betty Boop for live action.
No, she did live action or voicing for Betty Boop. Yeah.
Voice for Betty Boop.
But this was her final film appearance, and she plays one of the more memorable characters. Again, she shows up very late in the film. She gets a lot to do, and some really great moments. Every year around the Christmas table, we ask someone to say grace, and we just hope that they say grace passed away 30 years ago.
Say it.
It's just kind of like an all around fun film when you kind of see the dichotomy between things like how Eddie runs his family and how Clark runs his family.
Yeah.
You get Eddie who's talking about how his oldest daughter is in the clinic getting off the wild turkey, and his older son is training for his career. What's his career? He's working in the circus.
Which things is for Eddie, it seems like accomplishments.
Yeah. He's working his way up to guessing people's weights next year. That's hopefully what he's going to get to. Some other fun facts about the film. Rusty, played by Johnny Galecki, shares no dialogue scenes with his grandfathers. There's no time when he speaks to his grandfathers and they speak to him.
About it. You're okay.
Yeah. It's something I was watching when I was rewatching the film.
And if you know John from Big Bang Theory, and he went on to do Roseanne as well.
Yep. And in the Connors spinoff right now that's going on, Johnny Galecki is in a couple on the TV show with Juliette Lewis, who plays his sister in the film here. So there's all sorts of
I think this is
Game of Thrones connotations there. So
yeah, I think this is the movie that catapulted Juliette Lewis, right?
I can't think of anything else that she did
maybe
before that.
Yeah,
might have been some appearances here and there, but with Johnny as well, this was the first this was a big deal movie. For both of them
catapulted them, and then she did Cape Fear and then Natural Born Killers, and that really cemented her career.
Yep, and she has done just amazing work her entire career, and she's one of those actresses. I don't know if everyone remembers her by name, but when you see her in the film, you get this vibe of who she is going to be. She really plays those types of characters well. She's so memorable in a film like Old School, where she's again in it for maybe 10 minutes of the film.
I forgot she was in.
Yeah, but when you see her pop up in there, you're like, yeah, that's her, all right.
That's her, right? Yeah, I forgot she was in there.
Yeah. Another really funny thing I noticed, I actually just noticed this the last time I watched the movie, and I had to look it up afterwards.
Okay.
When Clark is bringing the gift in for his boss, Mr. Shirley, he tells him to set it down with the others over on the credenza there.
Right.
They are all the exact same gift. They are the same shape. It's like an L. And according to the online source that I was checking out, they're desk organizers that are all wrapped in different wrapping paper, but they've got this L to them because the pens go in here and then the Post-it notes go over here.
So they're all
the exact same desk organizer.
Do you know who that guy is? That is Bill Murray's stepbrother,
who appears in 2 Vacation films as different characters.
Not his half brother.
Yeah. So he actually appears at the campsite in the original Vacation. He's the tents.
Right now, the tents.
And then he's the boss here. So he's really screwing Chevy Chase twice over in this series. So
I can't remember. God, I just know him as Bill Murray's half brother, but he's also
Brian Doyle. Yeah.
Brian Doyle, but he also runs the Caddy Shack in Caddyshack.
Yeah, he's again he never hit the heights of oh, that's Brian Doyle Murray. He doesn't hit that heights where people recognize Bill. Fans of Bill will probably recognize him as the brother. They know of him as like the brother, but like he has done such a significant career of popping up.
No kidding.
Not really starring in any films. He just pops up a lot.
No kidding. Right. He's not going to carry the movie, but he'll definitely move it along.
Yeah, right. And he always gets a couple good kickers in every single film he's in, and I think like he's the central crux of like, I mean, if there's a antagonist in the film,
he's
Mr. Shirley. Really, like it's. There's no true antagonist because everybody's kind of against Clark in the film.
And we all know Chevy and Bill Murray's friction, and I'm sure Brian playing a jerk to Chevy wasn't very hard to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He just called his brother up and was like, I got these scenes going on. Let me know. So one thing I want to ask you about, because we're going to kind of run this one down here, but like, have you seen the sequel, Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure?
I know it exists.
I've never gotten up the nerve to watch it because I'm afraid it's going to take away from my.
Anybody, if you've seen it, please put a comment on there.
Let us know.
I don't have the. I don't know. I know it exists, but I don't.
Yeah, it's a film I've never actually been able to find for like free or on one of my streaming services. I don't want to spend money on it, but if you've had a chance, please tell us what your thoughts are in the comments below because I need someone to tell me if this is actually worth my time and energy hunting for, but I've never really wanted to because it's just one of those things where, like, I think my least favorite vacation film is Vegas Vacation. And there's still even, like, some moments in there that I really enjoy.
There's a little...
But it's not going to be, like, in the grand scheme of things, I can watch any one of these films and have some fun with them. What I guess is what's your favorite vacation movie?
This is it, man.
This is the one?
This is it. Vacation probably be a second, but this is funny.
Yes.
I mean, usually people think you watch it is all right. This is actually legitimately funny from beginning to end.
For me, I think this one is my favorite. I think Vacation is a better made film. I always notice different flaws while watching Christmas Vacation, but they're kind of heartwarming in like a Lifetime Christmas movie way. Yeah. I think Jeremiah Chechik, who directed the film, and he also did Benny and June, did this great miniseries on ESPN called The Bronx is Burning, but then he's done mostly television. For the last 20 years. I think one of his last major films was The Avengers. That's right, everyone. No, not that Avengers. He did the one that was the TV show with the Ray Fiennes and Uma Thurman. But I think he isn't as like capable of a director as, like, let's say if Chris Columbus had stuck on the film.
Yeah.
But he does a passable job, and I think he creates kind of a like heartwarmy kind of lifetime-y appeal to the film. So I don't think it's like a poorly directed film, but I just think like Vacation is just much more well constructed.
I get you.
But definitely like this is the one that goes through my Blu-ray player way more often. I think during the Christmas season I probably watch it 2 or 3 times, and I know on Christmas Eve I'm going to get stuck watching it again.
You're not alone.
Yeah,
you're not alone.
Well, there you go then. So that's our thoughts on Christmas Vacation. Again, let us know what you thought about the film. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. I know it was airing in AMC about a week ago, so go check it out there if it's still available. If not, I'm sure you can find it on some channel this season. Give it a try and let us know your thoughts on the film. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out our Patreon.
Please do.
Kyle and Nick on Film. Join up there. We've got some cool tiers going on through Christmas Day. We actually have a special going on right now. If you become a patron, you can help select some of our film topics for 2020. So check that out. We got some limited time left, so take advantage of it while you get the chance. Nick, where can we find you?
You can find St. Paul Filmcast at all major distributors, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play.
And you can find all of my reviews on www.goatfilmreviews.com. You can check us out over there. We got some fun new reviews coming out with the end of the year and getting into our Oscar death race on there pretty soon too, which I'm pretty excited about. So that's it for us. Until next time, guys. Happy holidays. Well, cheers to you.
Little cheers. I'm not going to try to break the antler.
Yeah, bye.